Hello and welcome to what's in this week's Oban Times with me, Finn Nixon.
And me, Kathy Griffiths.
We have lots of interesting news and photographs for you this week in our newspaper and on our website. And remember that here at the Oban Times, we are always happy to hear your stories and see your photographs as well. You can call us on 01 631 568 000, email editor@obantimes.co.uk, or message us on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter. So, which stories have we been finding out about and writing about this week? What have you got for us, Kathy?
Well, here's one for adventure seekers. Oban RNLI is appealing for help from holiday hosts to share a safety message with kayakers and paddleboarders. Taking to the waters of Argyll and the islands without proper equipment or the means to call for help if something goes wrong could soon turn into a nightmare, warns Water Safety Officer for Oban, Tony Hammock. So the RNLI has produced some safety leaflets for anyone thinking of heading out on their kayaks or paddleboards, and Mr Hammock's hoping that people involved in hospitality, whether it's hotel receptionists, B&B owners or Airbnb hosts, will actually share them with guests. So those leaflets are going to be available soon, so you can find out all about that in this week's Oban Times in the paper and online. And next time you go off rambling or walking and you're scrambling over a pile of stones, think about what might be under your feet. Archeologists have just found two ancient cairns, one long one round one, on top of a hill above Balvicar Farm on Seil. One is possibly Neolithic and the other Bronze Age. Read all about those discoveries in this week's Oban Times. And Lismore is looking at building two new affordable homes on the island. The community is having a big say on the design, being encouraged to come up with ideas. For example, you don't want your front door to go straight into a living area. It's a good idea to have a nice sort of space where you can kick off those boots, those soggy wellies and your coats and that kind of thing. So funding is going to be will need to be found for that. But if all goes well, there could be bright, comfy new homes ready for summer next year. Staying on Lismore, I've got to give out a big mahoosive shout to the island's volunteer firefighters who marched 8 miles in their full kit on sweltering Saturday afternoon, that was last Saturday, raising more than £3,000 to buy a defibrillator for the ferry waiting room at Point. They did an incredible job because it really, really was hot that day, and that kit's heavy. One guy actually carried the breathing apparatus, which is about 20 odd kilos, on his back all the way. That was the whole of the 8 miles. That was Colin. So so great job, folks. And also we've been hearing about a static caravan stuck on Oban's South Pier, racking up thousands of pounds in potential lost takings at Tobermory campsite while it waits for a CalMac ferry. Find out what all that's about in this week's Oban Times in the paper and online. Finn, what have you been up to?
Well, in other news, Highland Council have backed a bid for up to £50 million from the UK government for a new electric ferry to be used on the Corran Ferry route. Argyll and Bute Council seeks to exempt high schools from the controversial deposit return scheme. They've cited the negative impact it could have on free school meals, bullying and organised crime. Elsewhere, Rum Community Council have defended Lorna Slater's decision to hire a boat to travel to the island instead of using a CalMac ferry. The Biodiversity Minister was visiting Kinloch Castle. Another community council, Tainault, have been expressing their concerns at new forestry car park charges that have been introduced at the nearby Fernock and Sutherland's Grove forests. A petition has also raised concerns about suffering feral sheep on St Kilda, and I heard from Chris Mason, who has embarked on an epic fundraising tour of every RNLI lifeboat station in the British Isles and Ireland. I caught up with him as he completes the West Highland leg of his adventure, stopping off at Oban RNLI on his way from Campbelltown all the way up to Stornoway. In the sport, we have the latest Shinty Roundup after an action-packed weekend, and we celebrate the recent achievements of Argyll youngsters across many sports. Shoris Neal and Fraser Pollock travelled to Donegal with coach Rab Black to compete in the World Union of Karate-Do Federation's Irish Invitational Championships earlier this month, winning 3 silver medals and a bronze between them, as coach Rab took home 2 medals himself. There was also some superb rugby skills on show at the Mull Dalriada, from primary school pupils from across Argyll and Lochaber. Meanwhile, Mid-Argyll RFC's Development Day in Loch Gilphead was a success, with under 12 and under 14 girls teams taking part in skills training between competitive matches. We also have the latest sailing action, a preview before Bob McIntyre travels stateside to take on golf's USPGA Championship, and some great photographs from the ABCD 10k run. You can read all these stories and more at www.obentimes.co.uk or by picking up a newspaper in local shops and garages from Thursday. And don't forget, if you have a story, get in touch. You can call us on 01631 568 000, email editor@obentimes.co.uk or message us on one of our social media channels. That's it from us this week though, so it's goodbye from me, Finn Nixon.
And goodbye from me, Kathy Griffiths. Bye.
Bye.